Is it just me, or do you usually get this feeling when you're driving alone at night? A kind of an eerie feeling that you're not alone in your car? Frankly, I always feel that something's off whenever I drive alone at night. On this specific night, things weren't different. It was past midnight. I had just left my friend's house, Monica. Monica and I were working on a long company project. The highway felt nearly empty, just me and the occasional street light, casting long, ghostly shadows. I lived about 30 minutes away, so I hit the gas hard, trying to get home early. I adjusted my rearview mirror as usual. I froze. For a split second, I thought I saw something, a shape, a person, in the back seat. I turned around. Nothing. Just the dark interior of my car. My breath was shaky as I let out a nervous laugh. "You're just tired," I told myself. "It's all in your head." But I still couldn't shake that weird feeling. About 10 minutes on the highway, the air in my car felt somehow different. Kind of heavy, like someone else was breathing with me. Then my rearview mirror shifted, a tiny bit, but noticeable, as if someone had nudged it. I slammed the brakes, my heart thumping. The car behind me honked angrily, but I didn't care. My eyes darted to the mirror. Nothing. I reached up with a trembling hand and adjusted it back. That's when I came face to face with my worst fears. The seatbelt in the back, the one behind the passenger seat, was buckled. I didn't buckle it, but it was buckled. This cannot be. I thought my mind skipped some bits or real events occurrences. A cold wave of dread washed over me. I held the steering wheel firmly. I had this strong urge to get out of the car and run. But I didn't. I kept driving. I think some dark force controlled me at this point. My place was still 20 minutes away. Every minute felt like an hour. I kept glancing at the mirror, expecting to see something or someone sitting there. But it remained empty all this time. Then the smell hit me. A damp, moldy scent, like old fabric left in the rain. My stomach turned this time. It was coming from the back seat. I bit my lip and gripped the steering wheel. Just keep driving. Just get home. Then my phone buzzed. A text from my friend Monica. I glanced down quickly. "Hey, did you leave already? Who joined you in the back seat?" My blood ran cold. Fear engulfed my whole body. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the wheel. I was unable to check the mirror again. Literally, I did the only thing that came in my mind. I ran a red light, hoping that a police officer will stop and rescue me from the terrifying situation. I tensed. I sped toward the nearest gas station. My heart was racing so fast at this time. My vision blurred with panic. When I pulled in, I threw the car into park mode and jumped out, slamming the door behind me. The gas station was not well lit, but in that moment it felt like a safe haven. I slowly and carefully walked around to the back seat. My hands were trembling as I reached for the door handle. I opened the back door hesitantly. Nothing. The seat was empty. But to my surprise, the seatbelt was still buckled. I stumbled back, rubbing my arms against the chill crawling up my spine. I wanted to believe it was just my imagination, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. The next morning, I went back to check my car, hoping to discredit my worries. I tried to reassure myself that it had all been in my head. What I saw confirmed my worst fears. A single wet footprint on the back seat, like someone had been sitting there all the time since I left Monica's place, watching me. And then the footprint just vanished. Dreaming again, I thought. But no way. The mystery person on the rear mirror, Monica's confirmation message, the vanished footprint. Something unusual is going on here, probably paranormal, I thought. Days following the late-night journey home, I narrated my unusual ordeal to several friends, including Monica. Nobody believed me. To this day, I still believe that something, or someone, was trailing me, probably watching my every steering maneuver on my way home. Now, I can't stand the thought of driving alone at night. I just can't. Moving into a new apartment was supposed to be a fresh start for me. The thrill of a new city, a new job, and a new life was just so amazing. I found this wonderful one-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood, nothing fancy, but perfect for me. I just couldn't wait to explore my new area, meet new neighbors, and learn new things. The first few days were normal, until I met him, my neighbor Matthew. He was friendly at first, kind of too friendly. A few weeks after moving in, I started noticing his unusual gazes, attention, and attitude towards me. This was kind of unusual, I thought. I ignored my weary thoughts, telling myself that it was perfectly normal, given that we never met before. But I just couldn't shake this feeling whenever our eyes met. Whenever I met him on the hallway, he seemed to always know where I had been. One evening, we met on the parking lot. Late night at the gym, huh? He engaged me quietly. That pasta place you went to smelled amazing, he added. I froze. I never told him where I was going, nor did I ever initiate such kind of a conversation. But somehow he knew. Kind of eerie, I thought. Initially, I brushed it off. Maybe he just had a good memory or saw me coming and going. Or maybe he was just this attentive guy who remembers everything he sees or hears. But then, things started moving in my apartment. I'd come home to find my cabinets slightly open. My bathroom door closed when, as far as I could remember, I left it open. In my bedroom, things felt even scarier. My bed felt off, like someone had sat on it. Then, one night, I woke up to the feeling of being watched, like someone had just touched my face. I lay there, feeling paralyzed, and my heart pounding fast. My blinds were shut. My door was locked. But I felt it, this unusual feeling. Someone was watching me. I even saw dark shadows on the bedroom's walls. Or was I just imagining things? I just couldn't sleep. The next day, I carefully inspected my apartment before I moved into my bed. A few minutes into my sleep, a loud bang inside my closet woke me up. I froze. Then I heard a faint chuckle. I wasn't alone. I gathered courage and approached the closet. At this time, my legs were shaking, my heart thumping fast. Just before I opened the closet door, I saw a flashlight entering my room through a tiny hole in my bedroom wall right above my bed frame. The light was dead. Hesitantly, I shined my phone's flashlight towards the wall. In a split second, I saw movement, like someone just moved when I flashed my light. I looked again. I saw a blink. Someone was looking back at me. I stumbled back, terrified. I grabbed my phone, dashed out of the house, and bumped into the neighbor's house. I called the caretaker. He was skeptical, but he agreed to check. We entered the neighbor's adjacent bedroom together. It looked normal at first, until we moved his bookshelf. Behind it was a hidden panel, and behind the panel, a narrow crawl space which led straight to my apartment. My neighbor had drilled peepholes into my walls, into my bedroom, my bathroom. I felt sick, violated, and used. How long had he been watching me, recording me? the late-night chaos attracted more people. It wasn't long before the rescuers found photos of me. Hundreds of them. In the bedroom, in the living room, in the kitchen, and even in the bathroom. A few moments later, 2 uniformed police officers arrived and booked Matthew for further interrogation. I moved out the next day. I couldn't stay there anymore. The thought of him watching me all those nights made my skin crawl. Even now, in my new place, I still check my walls, my locks, my windows. I can't shake the feeling that somehow, someone could still be watching me. I am especially weary of tiny holes on the wall. I want my walls to be neat and perfect. No holes, scratches, or any marks. Nothing. And if you're listening to this right now, do yourself a favor. Check your walls. You never know who or what might be watching you. Believe me, someone could be watching you right now. I've always loved coffee shops. I think most people do too. The warmth, the smell of freshly brewed espresso, and the quiet hum of conversation just creates the comfort of a second home. But now, whenever I step into one, I get this uneasy, eerie feeling. A horrifying stalking experience changed my perception about coffee shops forever. When most people think about stalking, they shrug off the topic as a mere obsession that should fade away when circumstances change. For me, it's different. Stalking is emotional, cruel, haunting, and dangerous. Yes, stalking can transform your life into a nightmare, literally. I know this all too well because I have been there. I know how it feels when an unwelcome person is obsessed with you. When a friendly smile is mistaken for something more. It started with a man I barely knew. I probably paid little to no attention to him initially. I was working the closing shift at a small coffee shop in downtown, one of those lonely places with dim lighting and slow, soft music playing in the background. We had our regulars, students pulling all-nighters, writers hunched over laptops, and older couples sipping their evening cappuccinos. Then there he was, a regular customer who only visited during my shifts. He wasn't particularly creepy at first, just another customer, or so I thought. He always came in late, right before closing. Tall, quiet, with dark eyes that lingered just a second too long when I handed him his coffee. He never ordered anything complicated. Just black coffee. No sugar, no cream. And he never said much. Just a thanks note in this low, almost whisper-like voice. At first, I didn't think much of it. But then I started noticing a few things that seemed off. Like how he never touched his drink until I walked away. How his eyes followed me when I moved behind the counter. How he always sat in the same exact spot, a corner table with a perfect view of the register. Of me. One night, I was closing up alone. My coworkers Mike and Jenny had left early, and I was finishing the last of the cleaning. The cafe was silent except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. I was wiping the tables when I saw a napkin on a chair next to where he sat. Quite an unusual find in a coffee shop, I thought. The napkin was neatly folded. I almost ignored it, probably just a receipt someone left behind. But something made me pick it up. And when I did, chills run through my spine. Scrawled in shaky, almost frantic handwriting were 4 words. I know where you live. My hands shook uncontrollably. I looked around, my heart hammering in my chest. The shop was empty, the door was locked. I was alone. I told myself it was just a prank. Someone trying to mess with me, but then I started receiving weird messages in my phone. That night, just as I was about to fall asleep, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "You looked beautiful tonight." I sat on my bed, holding my pillow. I stared at my phone, my fingers frozen over the screen. Then another message. "That red color suits you." I tensed when I remembered that I had carried a red sweater to work. I blocked the number. I told myself it was over. But the next night, he was back. Same seat, same coffee, same dark, lingering stare. And the next night, and the next. Until one night, he didn't show up. I felt kind of relieved because he didn't visit this night as usual. But then, something didn't feel right this night. I felt that something unusual had happened. Then my manager called. Jenny didn't come to work today. The secretary answered. Jenny was my co-worker, my friend. She worked the shift before me. I tried calling her. No answer. 2 security guards were sent to her house to do a quick welfare check. There was no sign of a struggle, no forced entry. It was like she had just vanished. But there was one thing, her phone, left behind on her nightstand, and on the screen, a single unread text. "You looked beautiful tonight." They never found her. No leads, no suspects. Just a missing girl and a trail gone cold. I quit the coffee shop after that and relocated to live with my sister in Kansas. But sometimes when I walk past a cafe, I catch the scent of fresh espresso and my heart freezes. Because I still wonder, was he really after Jenny? Or was she just the first one to disappear? To this day, I grow weary very quickly whenever I am alone in confined locations. I know it's kind of awkward, but it's pretty serious and probably haunting for me. You know that feeling when you're completely alone, but something just doesn't feel right? Like someone's watching you? That's exactly how I felt from the moment I stepped into that Airbnb. And let me tell you, I should have listened to my gut. I had just gone through a messy breakup and needed a weekend away. Just a quiet escape to clear my head. So I booked this cute little Airbnb in a small town about an hour outside the city. The photos were perfect, beautiful, modern, and best of all, isolated. No noisy neighbors, no distractions. Just me, a book, and some much-needed peace of mind. Or so I thought. I arrived late in the afternoon. The host, Richard, messaged me earlier, saying he wouldn't be there to greet me, but had left the key under the mat. Standard, right? When I pulled up, the place looked just like the photos. Charming, rustic, with a wraparound porch and big, inviting windows. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. It smelled faintly of lavender, like someone had just sprayed air freshener. It was just sweet, quite comfortable and peaceful. But something felt a little awkward. You know that feeling of a place where people have just moved out? The kind of energy that lingers when someone has just left? It was like that, like I wasn't the first person to step inside that day. I shook off the weary feeling, blaming my nerves. I unpacked, made some tea, and curled up with my book. But as the night fell, the unease grew stronger. I could feel it in the air, like just unmistakable. It started with little, unexpected things. A kitchen cabinet slightly open when I swore I had closed it. The bedroom door creaking when there was no draft. Then, around midnight, I heard something really unusual. A cough from inside the house. I froze. My breath hitched as I listened carefully. Then a faint sigh. This time it was clearer, intentional, like someone who was seeking attention. The sound came from somewhere near the kitchen. I grabbed my phone and slowly crept down the hall. Nothing looked out of place. The door was still locked, the windows shut. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. Another person was here, and he wanted to be noticed. The thought that a stranger was inside the house really frightened me. Then I noticed something that made me really uncomfortable. The mirror in the hallway, one of those old decorative ones, was slightly tilted, as if someone had been peering around the corner, watching me. I barely slept that night, every creak of the old house sending my heart racing. The next morning, I texted Richard, the host, just to let him know I had arrived and everything was fine. His response came almost instantly. "Glad to hear. How's your stay so far?" I hesitated. Then I typed, "Great. Just out of curiosity, has anyone else stayed here recently?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then finally, "Nope. You're the first guest in weeks." I felt sick, that lived-in feeling. The cough, the tilted mirror. I needed to leave, immediately. As I packed my bag ready to leave, I noticed something I had completely overlooked the night before. A closet in the hallway. A closet I hadn't checked. I didn't want to open it, but something made me reach for the handle. I pulled the door open. Inside, there was nothing but coats and a few storage boxes. Then I looked closer. Back wall of the closet wasn't a wall at all. It was a door. Just a disguise. Chilling ending. My hands shook as I reached for the handle. It was locked, but there was a keyhole. I leaned forward, peering through it into the darkness beyond, and on the other side, an eye, staring right back at me. I stumbled backward, prepared to run. I grabbed my bag, my keys, and sprinted out of the house, nearly tripping over the porch steps as I fumbled to get to my car. My hands trembled as I shoved the key into the ignition. As I sped away, I glanced at the rearview mirror, and there, standing on the porch, watching me leave, was Richard. Except he hadn't driven there. He had been inside the house the whole time, watching me. When I think of the horrifying experience, I can't help but wonder, was Richard just another predator looking for unsuspecting victims? Since then, I have never placed a hotel reservation, even when my colleagues convince me to get over my fears. I just fear hotels, like for real.